count on for local news that matters. This is KARK4 News at 6.
A full-time resource officer on every public school campus. This is the first school safety legislation we're seeing from state lawmakers ahead of the 2019 session. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Ashley Katz. KARK4's Jesse Tenor joins us now with how Democrats are hoping to accomplish this. Jesse?
Nearly 500,000 K-12 students. A state representative with the support of the Democratic Party chairman believes this proposal is one of the best ways to protect them, but some still don't want guns in schools.
An on-site school resource officer can quickly respond to an active shooter, but many of the 1,000 K-12 public schools in Arkansas don't have one full-time. A bill Democrats are pushing ahead of the 2019 legislative session could change that.
If they want to be reelected, that's a smart move.
Yes. Armed resource officers should not even be an option at all.
The bill, sponsored by a former fire chief, Representative Scott Baltz, would tap into the governor's rainy day fund to put a full-time school resource officer on every public school campus in the fall of 2020.
I think the whole idea of having armed people on our campuses is inappropriate.
While some grandparents of public schoolers oppose the idea, others welcome it, especially since the legislation requires the SRO to be a certified law enforcement officer and pass the same training required of a commissioned school security officer.
Somebody trained to know what they have to do.
Yes.
They're the ones.
Yes,
and if you got to spend some more money on it, well, so be.
There's many other school safety plans swirling around the state capitol and beyond, but this is the first draft bill on paper. For example, the Governor's School Safety Commission supports arming some school district employees statewide if they volunteer and go through training and psychological testing. State law allows it. Some districts have been arming select staff for years, like Clarksville. Others, like Bald Knob, just decided to for the next school year. That's something these grandparents would both fight.
I wouldn't give arms to teachers.
No, I don't think that's
It, turns them into prison-like settings.
And the communications director for the Arkansas Department of Education says they will wait to weigh in on individual drafts of legislation until that school safety commission issues its report. The final draft is due to the governor later this year. Back to you.
Jesse, thanks very much. The Department of Veterans Affairs now investigating thousands of cases tied to an Arkansas pathologist who's since been removed from clinical practice and fired. KARK4's Haley Huey is looking into why he's been removed and his link to at least one patient's death. Haley.
The VA said be impaired on the job back in March of 2016. Since he had no previous issues, he was able to complete an impaired physician program and stay licensed. That allowed him to continue working at the VA, but back in October 2017, the VA says the employee was found impaired again. That's when the VA fired the pathologist. Right now, the center is not releasing his name. The medical center would also not comment on exactly how he was impaired. We spoke with a veteran who was directly impacted by this doctor and says he feels betrayed.
For about a week, I was going around being cancer-free. Then I got a phone call from urology telling me that information was incorrect, that I do have cancer.
Park says 30 pathologists from an outside group are conducting a thorough review of all cases involving this pathologist. According to interim Parks, that's exactly 19,794 cases to go through. So far, they've gone through 900, and that's where they discovered these 7 patients who were misdiagnosed. They believe one patient may have died as a result. The VA expects this investigation to take several months. In studio, Haley Huey, back to you.
Haley, thanks very much. The VA has set up a fully staffed call center and a toll-free number for anyone with questions regarding this doctor. If you believe you may have been affected by him, either call the number on your screen. Either one will work. You can also read more about this investigation, including reaction from Arkansas lawmakers, right now on KARK.com. 2 parents are in jail tonight accused of leaving their young children inside a hot car in Little Rock. Tamisha Williams Shaw and Aaron Robinson are charged with 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a minor. A police report says their 3- and 6-year-old kids were left inside of the car about 7 Saturday night outside Walmart on Shackelford Road. Witnesses heard the kids screaming and alerted security. The children were left inside the car at least 45 minutes. New regulations that would limit the amount of opioids doctors can prescribe is now on hold. State lawmakers voted to reconsider the medical board's rules to try and avoid unintended consequences. Chronic pain patients argue their prescriptions have already been reduced. The rules would require doctors to explore alternative treatments when they can prescribe a certain amount of morphine and hydrocodone for this type of pain. They would also limit opioid prescriptions for acute pain, like following a surgery, to a 1-week supply. Directors will take up a proposal tomorrow to eliminate several spots on the board. It's an issue we've been following for weeks now. Right now, this board has 7 members representing each of the capital city's 7 wards and 3 at-large members who represent the entire city. City Director Irma Hendricks has been pushing now to get rid of the 3 at-large seats. She says by doing so, the city board would more closely resemble Little Rock's racial makeup. After a lot of back and forth, it appears it will be on the board's agenda tomorrow night. We'll keep you updated. A former state senator convicted on corruption charges is headed to prison. Today, a federal judge sentenced Jake Files to 18 months behind bars for fraud and money laundering. He pleaded guilty earlier this year. While in office, Senator Files diverted money from the state's general improvement fund into his own bank accounts and those of his Fort Smith construction company. Files is also ordered to pay back more than $80,000 in restitution. He's set to report to prison by August 2nd. Democrats in the State House now have a new leader heading into 2019. State Representative Charles Blake of Little Rock is the new House Minority Leader. He replaces David Whitaker, who is staying in the legislature but not running again for the leadership post. Well, what started as an email to realtors ended up as a post on Nextdoor warning people about a man who scams people out of money. KARK4's Caitlin Reardon dug into the accusations against the suspect and found out where things stand today. Caitlin?
Well, Ashley, the suspect has been arrested for theft of property, forgery, and theft by deception, and his reputation has preceded him, which prompted several warnings to go out about his MO.
There's all kinds of different levels of scamdom out there.
Realtor Kim Robbins says not much surprises her anymore.
I can call my broker.
She says as a realtor in Little Rock, she's privy to warnings circulating in that professional community.
It's extremely helpful because it just keeps us all in the communication loop.
One recent email ended up on the Nextdoor app, warning people about a man accused of scamming people. The suspect was apparently going into real estate offices in Pulaski County trying to promote his landscaping business. But according to the warning, his demeanor was odd.
If something seems fishy or seems weird or people are asking for money up front, you just need to be aware of it.
Richard Hyatt is accused of scamming a homeowner out of more than $3,000. According to an arrest warrant, he promised to build a fence, never completed the work, but instead pocketed the cash. He was arrested Friday on a failure to appear warrant. Robbins says she's glad he's back behind bars, but it doesn't mean she plans to let her guard down anytime soon.
I always say just trust your gut.
Now, Hyatt's bond is currently set at $25,000, but the prosecutor plans to ask the judge to increase that at his bond hearing Thursday. Back to you.
Caitlin, thanks very much. The owner of an Arkansas hot dog restaurant now faces serious criminal charges. Ahead, we'll show you what he had to say as he turned himself in and why federal authorities are also now getting involved in the case.
And widely scattered showers and